is to take some deep breaths and to feel into your experience right now. And I'm going to invite you just to directly experience what's here. Directly experience. So most of us, we don't directly experience our life, our divinity, our Kundalini. Most of us, instead, we think about and comment on our experience. And so, in a similar way that we all watch, that some of us might watch sports, when you're watching sports, there's a commentator on the TV who's telling you a play-by-play, what's happening, what they think about the players, what the players should be doing or should have done, or what they did good, what they did bad, how they made a mistake. And when we do this, we're just living in our mind. We're living in our ego. And the invitation with the spiritual path is not to comment, not to judge, not to think about or create some great strategy. Because most strategies are attempts to not feel that which feels bad. So most of the strategies of the mind are about avoiding pain. Whereas the spiritual path, the path of Kundalini, is inviting you to feel and experience your life directly. And this is a very profound form of love, where you intimately connect with your experience, whether it feels good or bad. It makes no difference. You intimately connect with what's here. With what's here. So this is a form of unconditional love. And the beautiful thing about Kundalini is it brings everything into the light of awareness. It brings up everything into your consciousness. If you have any little bit of repressed pain or shadow or heartache or major trauma or fear or whatever it is, it's going to bring that very thing into the light to be experienced, to be felt, to be acknowledged, and to be released. And for me, this is, the greatest definition of love is, are you willing to feel, to open, and to experience what is? Now, most of us, we think of love, excuse me, in terms of, or through the filter of ego. So the ego's definition of love is, it feels really good in the heart. It feels good. It feels soft. It feels gentle. It feels sweet. I'm feeling loving. But love is not a feeling. Love is a willingness. A willingness to be with life deeply and intimately. And see, this is what Kundalini teaches us. Not to have surface level love, I love this person because they're being nice to me today. Oh, I don't love them. Now I hate them because they said something mean to me. That's not love. That's just, it's like a preference of how you're feeling in the moment. Oh, this feels good. I like this. I'll open to it. Oh, this feels bad. I don't like it. I won't open to it. That's conditional love. I don't even like to call that love. It's conditional preference. So what this Kundalini is inviting you, what God is inviting you, what your heart is inviting from you, is for you to open and experience life directly and intimately. Without worrying at all about how you feel. Like, feeling is irrelevant. Like, love, true love doesn't say, well, Like, how am I feeling? Maybe I'll open to the person. Maybe I'll open to this pain, this trauma. True love just notices there's pain here, there's trauma here, there's heartache, there's irritability. And it breathes into that. It breathes into it. Once upon a time, a brother of mine, a brother, an old friend, had found himself deeply addicted to drugs. And it's a brutal story, but he'd been actually stabbed and was in great pain. And he called me and said, "Hey, I need you to come get me." So I came and got him. He had these holes in his body from where he'd been attacked. And he was also detoxing from drugs. And so I sat in a hotel room with him for a week. And I held his hand while he screamed at me and, spit on me and told me he hated me. And, while he shaked and sweated and just, went through all the nastiness of withdrawal. And we made it to the other side. So this type of thing is love. If I had a preference, like, did I want to be in that room? No. No one wants to be spit on and, just yelled at and harassed. But, this is what love is. A willingness to hold the hand of a friend, to hold the hand of your own self, to sit with and to be with. And for many of you, your Kundalini journeys have been quite difficult. Myself included, quite painful, quite overwhelming, quite disorienting. And for many of us, we go into a victim mode where we think God is doing something to us, God is attacking us, this isn't fair, I don't like this. And what God is actually trying to do is to teach us how to love fully and completely, how to love unconditionally. It's much easier just to sit and comment about your experience, say, I don't like this, this isn't fair, God shouldn't be doing this to me. But if you notice what happens energetically when you comment about your experience, you're stepping away from your experience. It's literally being like the commentator at a sports game. They're normally not down on the field, the commentators. They're up in this box, like, way above the players, way above the field. So it's a super ego thing. There's not much feeling when we're commenting. It's a place of, egoic safety. But there's no safety in just commenting and hiding and judging. The only way our life will change is if we come down directly into our experience and be with it and all the messiness of it. And we feel and we open and we experience. And there's a funny thing that happens with pain or with energy or with anything that's just stuck in the body. When you sit with it intimately and you bring it your full attention, it begins to move, it begins to flow, it begins to unravel. It begins to move, it begins to flow, it begins to unravel. And this is how we heal, this is how we awaken, this is how we step into that which is greater. And so until we have this type of relationship with the Kundalini, where we're willing to be intimate with it, we're going to feel stuck, or it's going to feel like things are going very slowly. But when we're willing just to open and let it flow, there's a oneness, a unity with experience. There's no me and it, there's just this one thing. And some of you in the group have a lot of kriyas or a lot of movements. And if you notice, before, as the Kriya is starting to rise, if you're in your mind commenting about it, what is this? This is strange. This feels weird. This feels bizarre. I don't like this. If we're commenting about it, there's a you and there's an it. There's a division there. And there's this thing called resistance. Whereas if you just let go into it and just let the energy flow, you may notice there's just a oneness that's here, an energetic aliveness, an energetic aliveness. And the same is true whether we're feeling anger or sadness or hurt. These bursts of energy or light or intensity or spaciousness, if you simply surrender into your experience and get out of the way of yourself, there's this beautiful unification which comes. And sometimes it feels wonderful. Sometimes it doesn't feel so wonderful. But eventually, if you follow this path of directly experiencing, you'll step into a realm of spaciousness, a realm of love, and a realm of strength. And generally speaking, that'll feel much better than the feeling of being egoically divided for the rest of our lives. So anyways, I hope that was helpful and supportive in one way or another. Just a quick comment about the Facebook group. Last week I posted a question. Hans posted a question on the Facebook group wall, and so I encourage you to look there. Look there and take part in those questions. It'll help you deepen in your experience. And so this week's question will be, what's the difference between unconditional love and simply liking something? What's the difference between unconditional love and liking something? How does your experience change? When you shift out of the realm of liking and into love. You can love and like something at the same time. But if you like something, it's a very shallow way of being. It's not that it's bad or it's wrong in any way. But spiritual awakening is inviting you to step out of your limited egoic nature, which has programs, like whether I like or dislike, that's a very massive program within the ego. That rules many people's days, whether they like something or don't like it. Whether I'm having a good day or a bad day, how I'm feeling is what like is tied into. Whereas love is tied into truth. It's big, it's expansive, it's inclusive. It's much different than liking. Liking is tied into feeling. So anyways, and so much love to each and every one of you. See y'all next time. Bye for now.